As a professionally paid opinion giver, I must confess that I live in two worlds. If something is so bad it's good, is it bad or is it good? Sometimes something is objectively good, but it ain't my cup of tea. Sometimes something is quite clearly bad, but in a way that I enjoyed it, so can it really be categorized as bad? And then sometimes you get something like Baywatch Nights, the eternal mystery that cannot be put into one box, because it is everything and nothing. One thing can be agreed upon, however, it is very, very confusing. With that said, 8 episodes into season 1, let's actually watch the pilot and maybe get some answers as to what the hell is going on. Here, let Paul Schaefer summarize it.
It stars David Hasselhoff.
Right, Eric Estrada.
There he is. And he plays Mitch Baywatch.
Mitch Baywatch.
Mitch Baywatch,
right.
the head lifeguard.
Right.
Saving lives isn't part of competition on my beach.
Yeah, but if you can't show off in front of chicks, then what's the point of saving lives?
And David Hasselhoff is Mitch Baywatch?
Mitch Baywatch.
He's the star of the show.
Star of it, the head lifeguard, yeah.
Okay.
Sets me straight on a couple of things.
I hope that cleared some things up. Alrighty, so as I went over in Baywatching before, for whatever reason, they didn't feel the pilot of Baywatch Nights was up to snuff. They had to re-edit and re-narrate, all in an attempt to make things less confusing, and in the end decided to move it further down the roster and just give the audience nothing. No explanation as to why Mitch is now a detective, except for the new intro that boiled down to, "What does a lifeguard know about being a detective? Everything's stupid." The perfect solution. But they've still got a 22-episode season to fill, so the pilot's just going in, I don't know, the middle somewhere. Except now they have to add a new wraparound in order for them to flash back to when they just met. Most certainly more confusing than it ever would have been otherwise. Hey Ryan, you remember when we started this agency? Sure, Garner. You were chasing down some thugs who stole Dana's bag and... No, not that pilot, the other one. Oh yeah. You know what? Just let me tell it.
So I went to see Mitch, who was on vacation. I knew he'd been partying all night, so I wanted to catch him before he fell asleep. You know how Mitch is when he first wakes up.
Not really.
Well, let me tell you, he is not a happy camper.
Okay, questions. Immediately questions. So, Baywatch Nights screwed the pooch as far as their intro ep went, but Baywatch proper did do a lead up to it, so let me refresh you on how that went.
What other career?
I don't know, maybe a private eye. Maybe I should take a vacation.
So take one.
I think I will.
Several days later.
I knew he'd been partying all night.
What happened? Hey, Baywatch Nights, what happened? Apparently Mitch was idly considering a second career, decided to take a nice vacation to think it over, and then immediately went on a 24-hour coke binge. Hobie had to fend for himself at the video game liquor store.
Dad? Dad? Please let me in. It's so cold.
Also, if they're gonna make innuendo about Ryan not knowing what Mitch is like when he wakes up, meaning she's never slept with him, then we have to assume that Garner having this knowledge means he definitely has. Marner confirmed. Misguided spin-off-o-gram. Suddenly I'm more sarcastic and gritty and wear Miami Vice suits to bed. It's okay, Hobie's with his mother.
Hobie's with his mother.
Dad, please. I'll be good, I promise.
Garner is considering a career change at this point in his life. Mitch, who is currently on vacation to think on a second job, specifically a private eye like Garner is also hinting at,
I don't know, maybe a private eye.
obviously understands where his friend is coming from.
I'm quitting the police force. Again, have another donut. The feeling will pass.
Your happiness means nothing to me. Blueberry lives matter or whatever. Anyway, whatever you say next, if it's badly ADR'd, then I'm out of here.
You're going running now? I'm in a midlife crisis.
Bye! Mitch thinks this whole PI thing is stupid. He's got more important things to do, like use his lifeguard jurisdiction to investigate a scarab that keeps getting through a restricted channel.
Lieutenant Mitch Buchanan, Lake County Lifeguards.
While on his vacation, I guess? Lifeguards go on stakeouts, right? I love further proving that this spin-off is pointless in the long run. Mitch is becoming suspicious that this boat has something to do with some stolen jade that Garner had been talking about, which causes him to spout off some bad narration.
No reason to worry, right? Wrong.
The thing he's most suspicious of, however, is the attractive brunette who shows up on this restricted dock he's checking out. This is Ryan, of course, who has just bought a detective agency and is meeting up with the previous owner, fellow PI Nikki Pine.
I brought you this for buying my detective agency.
Oh,
thank you.
Boring. Oh, holy shit, this is totally what lifeguards do all the time! Heard there was an action scene starting over here. Somewhere out there, there's a territorial surfer beach brawl that is going sadly unbroken up. Right about now, you're probably wondering why Mitch didn't just suggest that he and Ryan jump out of the burning boat into the water, but that's because you're a simpleton.
I'm afraid of heights.
It might be a bad time to ask for this, but I have a really cool move where I ask for a chick's number when I'm filling out an incident report, and in case I don't get a chance to do that, can we have sex right now?
What's a lifeguard doing out here?
Yes, aren't lifeguards kept fenced into their section of the beach via electric collar?
Good thing we came up here!
Doggone it, Mitch, you missed my cool shootout and everything! Upon discovering that Nikki Pine has been blown up, Ryan's feeling pretty lousy, and I gotta say, it's difficult to have a worse first day of work. And you know the police captain is putting on a front, because inside, he's horribly upset about Nikki Pine.
You can be first back on the beach. We wouldn't want anyone cheating at volleyball now, would we?
The guy with him is Garner's former partner, who was just promoted to detective because of a tip about the Jade case. Garner's got a huge chip on his shoulder about it, and I guess the writers took this to mean that every episode should have someone Garner knew on the police force make fun of him. Hey, quick question, why is everyone an asshole all of a sudden?
He's been in people.
Cool. Mitch will give you a ride.
Thanks, officer.
Thanks, officer. Thank Mitch here. He's the one who pulled you out of the suit.
But as he says, he's a lifeguard. He does it for a living.
Lifeguard, scum of the earth! Look, I mean, I'm probably the target audience for a detective-themed spin-off of a lifeguard show, but you still gotta stay true to what little consistency you have in the parent series. You can't just pretend Mitch is suddenly a cynical anti-hero who parties all night and reluctantly helps people. And the fact Garner is the one really driving the detective stuff here and knowing he'll be pushed aside so Mitch can do everything later is deeply sad to me. Also, I thought Ryan's dumbness was an act, but it seems that no, she really is the world's worst PI. Suspecting Ryan is involved in this Jade case somehow, Mitch gives her a ride to her new office. Here, Nights showcases Brody Buster, a real-life 10-year-old harmonica prodigy who still performs today. Later on in the ep, we see him play with another accomplished blues performer, Arthur Adams. I make fun of the show a lot, but genuinely, their highlights of amazingly talented blues musicians are pretty damn cool.
Cool. Let's have the bracelet.
Hey, jerk, welcome to it. It's only plastic.
Imagine you're Ryan. You have just moved to LA to start your career as a PI, and you do absolutely nothing as this random-ass lifeguard and beach cop come bumbling into your life to punch out bad guys. What is going on? Look at this. She doesn't even care what happened to them or the guy who showed up to rob her. She's too busy being pissed that the super awesome PI office she bought was actually a dump run by a cheapskate slob. No explanation as to why the office had to be owned by another PI when all she needs is a working space, but okay. Apparently, she owns everything that comes with it, including his set of wheels he picked up at a police auction. That's right, the red convertible is the agency's official car, which is why you only ever see Mitch driving it like he's the prince of PIs.
Let's take the car.
Neither of you have any stake in this business at this point. Mitch and Garner were apparently trying to find Ryan, even though they were getting her car for her, or I don't know why they were there, honestly. And apparently they drive all night, don't find her, and then Mitch just comes across her the next day throwing some bread at some seagulls outside her office? How the hell do these two become PIs? What kind of pathetic excuse for a montage? Mitch drives for so long he changes outfits. In what could almost be classified as a bonding moment, Ryan explains that she doesn't need a hero because she's made out of tough material because she grew up with 6 older brothers in Dallas, Texas, where they don't like sissies. You can tell she's an independent woman because she's doing absolutely nothing in regards to her situation.
If you're soft, you'll get dented.
Well, you had some great body work.
Oh, by the way, while Ryan was doing nothing, Mitch, the guy who apparently wants nothing to do with this nonsense, found some vital clue to the case. I'm glad Ryan and Garner have contributed so much to this plot so far. In keeping with this episode's narration, pretending being a lifeguard has given Mitch valuable detective skills.
There's not much difference between being a lifeguard and a private eye.
He explains that he asked his lifeguard buddies to keep an eye out, and they were the ones who found the clue. So as long as every case has to do with the water, Mitch is gonna do just fine.
That's the guy who tried to grab your bracelet.
Damn, impenetrable!
Using her forensic criminologist skills, Ryan takes some fingerprints and they put it into the police fingerprint computer. But uh-oh, former partner is upset that Garner is breaking the police rules.
I wouldn't talk to him like that. He's already broken my nose twice in situations like this.
Wait, hang on, excuse me, pardon. Is this supposed to be the same captain that demoted Garner to beach duty because he broke his nose? The one we already met in Baywatch Season 3 who was a black man? Or does he just go around breaking multiple captains' noses? And also twice now, apparently. And if he's scared of him, why doesn't he just fire him? What is the dynamic here? Good fun. We just skim right over that part, but it's not like Garner quitting and becoming a PI is part of the premise of the show. We gotta focus on lifeguard Sasquatch.
Look who was in my room.
Don't tell me. Nikki Pine.
Oh, you thought you were doing something meaningful in this episode? Think again.
What follows is a reveal of Scooby-Doo proportions. They find Nicky Pine at his own funeral getting a slice of ham and identify him by his socks, despite sporting the world's smallest fake mustache.
Nikki!
Come on, stop this. Hey.
You can't go any faster. I'd have to drop the waxing compound.
It turns out Nicky tipped off the cops about the stolen jade after finding evidence in the car he bought at the police auction, but he took a bracelet off the list to keep for himself. In order to get the criminals off his back, he faked his own death with the help of his secretary and a bunch of paid actors, and handed off a decoy bracelet to Ryan.
We just wanted to show Landau how Nicky died. I mean, we didn't want to hurt nobody.
For reasons I'm not clear on, he broke into Ryan's motel to throw someone off of something? This is all treated like he's a lovable old scamp and not someone who most definitely nearly got several people murdered.
Excuse me.
Psh, women.
Ryan is understandably upset about being played for a fool, and she explains that she moved here to become a PI after saving her boss from a shooter, expecting to be promoted to an investigator, and ending up with him taking all the credit. Wow, just like Garner, the person who was inside chuckling it up with old man McShucks you got murdered, and instead left her with a patronizing lifeguard whose PI experience is seeing the Maltese Falcon when he was 8. But now she's in a better situation, working with a man who will take credit for all of the cases. Time to take out the jade smuggler!
Got it all on tape.
Nice try, boys, but we all know you can't use that in court. After going back to Nights, Mitch smugly beats a lady at a pool game and gets ready to take her back to his place for some of that not sex he has on the show, and apparently off-screen, Garner and Ryan have decided to become business partners. Again, oddly brushed over for something that is literally the premise. They realize they're still in a lot of debt, however, and decide to guilt Mitch into joining up.
No. N-O.
I don't know, maybe a private eye.
Despite mentioning multiple times that I'm interested in pursuing my childhood fantasy of becoming a PI on Baywatch, I'm a completely different character here.
Most of the money I got saved is for Hobie's college education. And I'm not gonna touch that.
Oh, who are we kidding? We know Hobie is never graduating high school. I'm in!
And that's how that happened. We had a plot for this framing device, but who cares? Let's be awkward for a while. Next time on Baywatch, it's another detour. We're exploring a 1976 film that predated Baywatch, but features a very familiar face. So let's take a dive into Lifeguard. Funkadelic!